People don't know how to make partner. A lot of people sort of stay stuck for a very long time, I think, not really knowing where they're going in their careers, not knowing if partnership's available to them.
Nobody's talking about how to shift your mindset and what to do to become partner.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
You've told me I've been on track to become partner for 15 years, and they said, okay, do another 5 years and you can become partner.
Yeah. They don't want to share their slice of the pie with anyone who's going to dilute it. You just get out there and you have a whole networking book building strategy. You're solving a problem for them. That's what sales is all about.
How do you actually win clients?
You've showed them you're dedicated, you're there. You are there for the business.
Today, we're going to be talking about making law firm partner, because Helen, you're always talking about how to become partner, aren't you? You're always banging on about it. And I feel like nobody else is talking about it. Why are you the only one?
I don't know, and I find this really, really weird. If anyone else here knows of other people who openly talk about this topic, please drop it in the comments, because I'd love to see who they are. But I feel like it's this sort of whole thing about law, which is so strange because the firms don't seem to give this information out there. People don't know how to make partner. A lot of people sort of stay stuck for a very long time, I think, not really knowing where they're going in their careers, not knowing if partnership's available to them. And it really isn't rocket science, but there are several certain steps you do have to follow, and there is a kind of blueprint. And if you don't know it, then you're kind of in trouble. That's great. You're joining from Pret, Kim. Thank you for dedication to the water cooler cause.
What a better way than to be watching this while in a Pret. I would absolutely love that.
I love Pret, honestly. I do miss Pret over here in Bali. And I take the point that Kim just says, that says perhaps people don't want to be partners these days. I think there are a lot of people who don't want to be partners, and that is a whole thing. But I can tell you from the number of people that reach out to me for coaching, but an awful lot of them do. And you've got a lot of very disappointed people who are many years qualified who just, don't understand how to move from a traditional lawyer, a sort of a technical lawyer doing the legal work, actually becoming basically a business owner and money maker. And that's a hugely different skill set. You have to sort of become an expert salesperson. You have to become great at marketing, networking. And for a lot of lawyers, that just, it isn't the skill set that we've initially got.
So, Helen, I really want to ask you, because one of your famous quotes, and I'll admit I heard it on a podcast that you were on, and I was like, whoa, it really stopped me in my tracks, which was when you said, if you don't think you're on track to become partner, you're not. And I was like, whoa, that is so brutal, but I kind of love it. And I never even occurred to me. So how do you know when you're on track?
Do you know what's really weird? I don't think I realised how brutal that comment was. I probably say quite a lot of brutal things these days, but I heard that somebody very senior at one of the big law firms actually said, that's become a quote which sort of, is spoken around some of the inner corridors of the city, I think, now, because there's just so much truth in it. If you have no idea whether you're on the partnership track, you are just not. It's as simple as that. I speak to so many associates who tell me, I really want to become partner. I think I'm doing quite well. I have good appraisals. Maybe they're 7, 8, 9 years qualified, whatever, or even more junior than that. It can be relevant from about 5 or 6, I would say. And they say, no, I don't want to bring it up. I just feel really awkward. I don't want to ask. And it's such a key point. If you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't know, you're probably not. A firm is earmarking you for partnership. They will be making all the right sounds. You'll either be on a sort of more traditional path of the partnership track, as a lot of the big law firms have, or as was the case with me, the senior people are just making all the right noises and telling you. It really is as simple as that. But if you're not hearing the right things, then presume that you're not. So you need to get answers. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. So I know someone who was they thought they were on track to become partner, right? And then they've been working in the industry or in the same firm for 15 years. And then she goes to the management and goes, right, you've told me I've been on track to become partner for 15 years. What's going on? And they said, okay, do another 5 years and you can become partner. Yeah. What can firms string you along? Can they make you think that you're going to become it, but you're not going to become it. And what do you do in that situation?
I mean, that's exactly what they do all the time, because it suits firms to do that. The other probably very brutal thing that I've said on this subject many times now is that it suits firms to have workhorse or worker bee associates who are going to do all of the work for them, work really hard, earn all the money, because as a lawyer, you are a fee earner. This means, every 6 minutes that you are working, you are earning those equity partners money. That is the business model. Question mark over whether that should be the business model, question mark over whether that's going to continue to be the business model. I don't think it will forever. I think the billable hour will come to an end at some point. But for the moment, that is how it is. They don't want to share their slice of the pie with anyone who's going to dilute it. So you need, from a business perspective, to be showing that it makes good business sense for you to join the partnership, i.e. that you are a great prospect for the firm, that you're going to build their reputation, you're going to be a great networker, and most importantly, you're going to bring in a whole load of money. Those things are really, really important. It's a bit different if you're a salaried partner. They may take you on as salaried partner without bringing in much work, etc., but they still want to see you as a leader leading the firm. If you're just sort of doing all of the grunt work or just getting on with your job, they're not necessarily seeing you in that way. And as I've said, it doesn't necessarily suit them to be truthful with you, particularly in the bigger firms. They want to have lots of counsel, very senior people running all the matters. So the partners, junior partners still run a lot of the matters as well. But, it frees up the partners to go and do all the BD or whatever else it is they want to do. I think you have to suddenly look at this, a lot more commercially. Lawyers aren't trained to think in this way and see law firms as a business. So it doesn't necessarily occur to them straight away that actually this is a structure which isn't working for me. So you have to go out of your way to make that structure work for you.
Got you. So how do you then start doing that? Because I guess as an employee, you're in this mindset of, I just do the work. I get given the work, I do the work. And so if you want to get on the path to becoming partner, it's a completely different mindset shift. And also, nobody's talking about how to shift your mindset and what to do to become partner. So how do you actually switch everything up, change your mindset, and start doing what you're saying, in fact?
I think one of the best ways is actually to imagine that you are going to become a business owner in law. Imagine that you don't get paid unless you help the business continue. Okay, you don't get your salary. That's way too comfortable. So you start imagining, my God, if I want to continue earning my salary, paying my mortgage, sending my kids to school, whatever it is you're doing, you have to bring in money. So you have to bring in law work. Okay, so how are you going to do that? Well, first of all, you need to sort of actually step up and start acting a bit more like a leader. You've got to be thinking about strategy. You've got to be thinking about where the business is going. You've got to be thinking about your practice area, your ideal clients, how you actually build up this practice, how you actually bring in that money, how you become the go-to person. So within that, you have to sort of identify your ideal clients. You have to work out who you need to be networking with. You work out how you create a name for yourself, a personal brand, whether that's in-person networking events or on LinkedIn, which is a massively untapped resource in the legal industry. And you just get out there and you have a whole networking book building strategy. And you do that alongside your legal work. And I think a lot of the time people think, oh gosh, I don't have the time for that. I do think it's extremely difficult as a lawyer to manage all of this. I'm not going to lie. At the same time, I think this is why you have to have a strategy, because when you have a clear strategy, you're going to do the things which give you the greatest ROI in terms of the investment of your time. So if you've only got half an hour, 1 hour a day that you can dedicate to this, how are you going to get the best ROI, the best return on investment for your 1 hour invested? If you had to bring in that money at the end of the month, you would suddenly start thinking a lot more sharply, I can promise you.
Oh my gosh. So what would you suggest people do then to start making themselves look like a leader, or being like a leader? But it's quite tricky if you're in a junior position or you're an associate. How do you actually show these skills to then get on that path to becoming partner?
I think there's a way that you can just be impressive in front of leadership. So first of all, you've got to make sure you're seen by the right people. So you've got to see where the power lies in your firm. if you can see the power lies with the managing partner or whoever, you need to become their go-to associate. So if you're in the office at 7 in the morning and they happen to be in the office at 7 every morning, you pop down the corridor, you poke your head in their office and you say hello every day. Ask them how their evening was, ask them how their kids are, and then you disappear again. You showed them you're dedicated, you're there, you are there for the business. You're also on their radar. You try and do matters with them. It doesn't matter if they're scary or other people think, oh, you know, they're nice people to work with or whatever. It doesn't matter, because that's the path to power. That's the path to leadership. And you start thinking like a strategic thinker. Instead of going to senior partners or these people in power with problems, you start giving them solutions. You say, I'll do that matter. And then a problem comes up and you go to their office and you say, right, okay, this is my idea. This is how we're going to deal with it. I want to do boom, boom, boom. I've already spoken to the client. You know, you've dealt with it. You're showing yourself as a leader. You're not showing yourself as somebody who just presents problems. You're also thinking about, if you're in the office, how do you hold yourself? Don't go around gossiping with loads of people. I've seen it before where associates, even though they were good enough to become senior associate, weren't made senior associate because they just gossiped all the time. They didn't have the leadership qualities, which, you know, leadership was looking for. So you have to kind of be very perceptive. You have to really ramp up your emotional intelligence, you know, invest in yourself, like learn to be self-aware and aware of others, read the room, read the politics of the firm. Aside from that, just make sure you're really good with clients. Make people feel special, remember them, write them nice messages, go for a drink with them. Do not send them boring articles all the time. Don't invest, talking about ROI on investment of time, do not sit there writing tons of boring legal articles. That is not how you're going to win clients. You might win them through the odd article when they see it and think, oh, we must instruct them. But I can promise you there will be a whole underlay of other stuff, you know, such as actually building that real relationship. And nobody wants to be bored to death.
Yeah, no way, no way. You know what's interesting? What you say about popping your head in the door and being like, hi, how was your weekend? Because honestly, I think that wouldn't occur to a lot of people. I know it's a very simple point and it's simple for you because you think in that strategic way. But I bet you so many people wouldn't do that. I know that
They didn't. I was the only one, I can promise you. I was the only one there at 7 in the morning. I was the only one doing it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wouldn't do it, you know, like when I was working in law firms, there's no way I would have been like, hi, how's it going, to like the top dudes, you know?
Yeah. But I bet now in business, you'd be a bit different. I don't know, if you think about it, you think
Yeah.
now how you build relationships with people, and like through, this is a whole thing in itself, isn't it? But I've really learned through building my personal brand on LinkedIn and being like very well connected on the platform. I have so many really, really senior people who I would have been terrified of before who reach out to me. You suddenly become a magnet rather than having to search for opportunities. They just come your way. That's another reason I say to lawyers, you must be on LinkedIn. You must get good at LinkedIn. Please don't just post articles again, please. I don't want to see any more case studies. But anyway, the point is these people reach out to you, and honestly, the messages I send to a lot of these people now have like 3 emojis every sentence. I'm not saying go straight in with 3 emojis in a sentence, but that's the thing. If you can break down those barriers, senior people are human at the end of the day. And if you act like awkward around them or you don't know what to say, like they're not going to love being in your presence. You have to make these people love having you around. It's the same with clients. That's why they're going to hire you. People, you have to make people want to be around you as a person. That's the key.
Such great tips here, Helen. You know, I'm actually really, really impressed. I know it's obvious stuff, but it just kind of isn't at the same time. It's weird. We've actually got some questions. What percentage of becoming partner is about entrepreneurship, and what percentage is about being a good lawyer?
I think a lot of my posts where I talk about this, actually, people suddenly come in and they're like, no, you have to be a good technical lawyer. And I 100% agree with that. And I actually often don't always mention that because I just take that as given. If you're not a good lawyer, you just won't get the gig. You have to take it as given that you are a good technical lawyer and you can do the work. Oh, and by the way, really key point here is you don't just bring in work for you. That's short-sighted. You get in a firm which is either full service or, you know, has a few different departments, and say, or even you could be referring out to other firms, make sure you get your referral fee, and say I bring in a piece, I'm a litigator, it's an employment piece or a corporate piece, I cross-refer in my firm to that department. As a partner, then I get points for that cross-referral. So it's not just about the work that I bring in for me, it's about the work that is done in the firm as a whole. So you need to be building up really strong key relationships internally as much as externally, because they will give you work and also you will give them work. And it means you can service your clients better. So you have to have a really good understanding of your niche in law. You have to be technically great at that, but you also have to have a broad understanding of all other law, broad enough that you can make referrals. And that's where you make mega bucks, because if your client loves you and you're a litigator, but they've got some massive M&A deal coming in, that could be huge amounts of money for your firm. And that's a really interesting comment from Chris saying, thanks for valuable insights. No, it's just me bigging myself up. Sorry, thank you. You said so much. just wanted to do that. So you said so much to learn for anyone on the vendor side too. I'm really curious about that. Out of interest, what is it on the vendor side that's particularly interesting about that? I'd be really curious to know. But does that kind of answer the question, Holly?
Yeah. I mean, if you could come up with a percentage, as in like 80%, 20%, what would it be? In terms of,
so the question is whether it's entrepreneur. I'll let you go.
Yeah, what percentage of entrepreneurship, what percentage of being a lawyer? I know you've got other micro percentages for other aspects, but let's just say you only had those 2 aspects. What percentage would you give each one?
80% entrepreneurship.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Well, you're not.
No.
I think it's because you see so many great lawyers out there. I see so many amazing lawyers who are 15, 20 years PQE. That's great. They are good lawyers. They are really good at what they do. That doesn't make them a business owner. That doesn't mean that they are, bringing in swathes of clients. It doesn't mean they understand how to network. It doesn't mean they understand how to sell or market themselves or the firm. Totally different skill set. And if you're just a technical lawyer, then you're dependent on other partners to feed you all the time. You just take what you're fed. You're not going out there and actually creating your own business. So I think that's why I say it's 80%. And actually, another really key point here is a lot of partners, even whether they're salaried, whether they're equity, are not good business people. They just about get by. In some firms, okay, maybe they bring in a couple of 100K, 300K a year, and you think that sounds like big figures, but then often in these firms you'll find 1 or 2 partners who are like the rainmakers who bring in millions. They're the one to watch. I think in law we have this problem whereby partnership is its own status. I speak to so many lawyers who just want partnership to say they're a partner because they think that makes them successful, but they actually don't want what the job entails. If you really want to be a partner, look at how the rainmakers do it. Don't base yourself on the sort of bottom rung of the ladder, just about got scraped into partnership. That doesn't make them a super successful partner in my mind. It depends what you want out of it, right? But it depends. I mean, for me, I think, partnership is really entrepreneurship if you do it properly. Some people will probably disagree with that to some extent and say, oh, I just really want to be a technical lawyer and bring in enough money and whatever. And that's fine. Depends how high you want to go.
Yeah, it depends what you want. It's very interesting though. And you're talking about bringing in clients and feeding the other lawyers and people within the firm. And actually this taps into a question that we were sent, which is how do you actually win clients as a partner or as a person within the firm?
I think this is where a lot of lawyers think, oh, I'm going to reach X level and then I'm just going to go out and start winning some clients. And it doesn't work like that, particularly because we're dealing with really high ticket value transactions or cases. So you've got high ticket services. The higher the price, the more trust you need in that relationship. So the deeper the relationship has to go. You're not just going to walk in and get a deal for millions of pounds. They're going to go to their trusted advisor. So how do you start building that trusted relationship? Well, first of all, you have to work out who your ideal clients are. Then you have to map out exactly where they're going to be hanging out, how you start building these relationships. LinkedIn, again, is an amazing way because you can actually use that as a magnet to draw them to you in an extremely powerful way. I've had clients land, seven-figure clients through the power of LinkedIn. Like, it really can happen, but you have to drip feed it. You can't expect anything overnight. And Gary Vee talks about the top entrepreneur. He talks about the jab, 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 hook method. Like, you give, and then you ask. Like, you front load with value. you be as helpful as possible, you do them favors. And by favors, I mean, you can drop them a meme, you could drop them a text, something funny or something you think they'd like, or that relates to a sport they play or their kids or whatever. A lot of lawyers just think, oh, I'll send them this update on the law. I can assure you, again, it's not going to ignite someone's fire or make them think, oh, he's a great guy. Like, it might help you as part of your whole package, but you need to start early and start drip feeding these people.
Yeah. I put on the screen, we've got a response to your question from Chris, which is, it's crucial for vendors to create internal champions, comprehending the path they need to navigate and how to support them achieving the objectives outside the technical work. Will position you as a partner and trusted advisor. This is a good point.
That is such a great point, because I think this then goes to, if law firms are your client as a vendor, it's communicating your value as a vendor, isn't it? So it's saying through AI or whatever technology it is that you've got, actually, we're going to make your business so much more successful. You're going to be able to sell to your clients better. You're going to be cutting edge of the market, and you're going to be market leaders and earn or win a whole load more money. So I can really see that. Thanks so much for that really great point there, Chris.
So Helen, what would you say then if you were to say the top 3 skills or personality traits that you need to become a partner? What would they be?
I mean, look, as I've said, I think it kind of differs slightly across the board depending on what level of partnership you're going into and what your aspirations are. But I think if you're aiming for the top, you need these 3 things. And there are other things as well. So if you think I've missed anything out, you can drop it in the comments, because I probably have. First of all, is you need to be a really excellent networker. You need to get people to like you. People have to know, like, and trust you to want to buy from you. So you need to be likable, very likable. And you need to be endlessly curious, because actually being a great networker means you're really interested in other people. You just want to learn about their businesses. You want to learn everything about them, and that will attract them to you. The second thing is you need to be a big picture strategic thinker. You need to be thinking in a business sense. How do you grow your department? How do you grow your business? How do you grow your network, your referrals, all this sort of stuff? You need to be a strategic thinker. You need to get your head out of that, black letter law. The final thing, and I think we don't see enough of it now, but it certainly is the future, you need to be a really great leader. You don't want high associate churn. You want people to want to work with you because you're a great person, because you're inspiring, because you're good at what you do, and hopefully you're kind as well. You're leading with a carrot and not a stick. And that's going to hopefully create you a really loyal team and a great reputation across the board.
I think they are great points. And I think probably as people are listening to this, they're probably thinking, well, you think that everyone wants to become partner, but partnership is just not for everyone. Do you know what I mean?
And it's 100% not. It's just not for everyone. Honestly, so many people, they come to me for coaching, they say, I want to be a partner. But then after speaking to them, if I gave you the job description for senior associate and the job description for partner and hid the job titles, they would go for senior associate any day. I think you really need to think about it. It's not the be all and end all. There are so many other industries out there. You could stay a lawyer, you could stay within law, be in-house, be in private practice, you could become a consultant, you can be a digital nomad lawyer, you can do whatever you want. You could go into legal tech, you could leave law completely and do something else. There are a million things out there. Partnership is just one. And actually, I coach people on all sorts of different things, not just partnership, but I feel like this is a really neglected area where a lot of people just need some signposting.
Yeah, they do. And to be honest, I've learned so much from just this conversation, from talking to you about partnership, because I didn't realize what really went into it, especially the entrepreneurship side of things. So that's been a massive, I guess, surprise for me in this conversation. You saying 80% is entrepreneurship. Well, that's like saying to someone, you're going into law, but you're actually not. You're going into business. And that is probably mind blowing for a lot of people who go through law school.
I think it is. And that's why as well, like, it got to the point where I can only do so many one-on-ones with people. I can only help, so many people. So what I've actually done, and this should be released in the next few weeks, is to create a course which will basically give you the blueprint to be able to get to partnership. Because I think that's what we need. We need it public. We need it with the people. Give the power to the people. And that's what I'm all about with all this stuff. And also, if anyone's ever got any questions, you're always really welcome to, just reach out to me.
Could you talk more about the jab? I think you were talking about Gary Vee, weren't you? The jab, hook. How do you think about the ask or the sale once you have that relationship with the potential client?
Yeah, so the jab is basically, I think it's supposed to be the give, because it'd be the hook is the ask, I think. So with the jab, 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 hook. I mean, I may have got that the wrong way around, and you can come back to me if I have got that wrong. But I think in terms of the ask, it's about having that deep enough relationship where if you are endlessly curious about the client's business and you know them well, and maybe you're going to have drinks with them, or you're playing a sport with them, or you meet them at the weekend and do whatever, you're going to get to know them both as a person in their life and also about their business. Like, for example, Holly, we speak to each other in depth about each of our businesses, right? It's not done in a sense of, oh, I want that or I want that, but we just know that about each other. And I've learned so much about podcasting from you. And I think that's the thing. If you get close to people, then you could say to them, like, look, you don't need to pick me or whatever, but I know you've got that transaction coming up and I'd love to help you. If you're up for that, let's have a conversation. And I just think these things happen naturally. And I think you do have to have the confidence to put yourself out there, because actually you're not asking for anything. What you're doing is you're saying to them, I can offer you something that you really want. You're solving a problem for them. That's what sales is all about. Actually, you're not selling anything when you're solving their problem. You just see that they've got X issue and you say, you know what? I know I can do a really great job for you. If you'd like me to do it for you, let's have a chat. I will do the best job possible for you. You know? So, and I think that's where you're showing the value. You're not trying to sort of get something from them or, scrounge the work out of them. Like at the moment, I always think, I don't want to work with people if they don't want to work with me, because I'm obviously not the right person for them. I just want to work with people who I can give great value to and do a great job for. And I think that's the key thing about sales. It's not thinking, oh, I just want to get money out of whoever I can. It's no, you want your ideal clients because you know you can service them and give them such an amazing service. And you feel confident in that, and you know it's going to deepen your relationship.
Yeah, that's a great way to think and a great way to serve people, for sure. I think that is a brilliant tip, Helen.
I think, well, I got confused there about the jab because he's saying my mistake. I'm not sure. No, I think, yeah, whatever way round it is. Gary V always knows. Gary V always. I'm just at the moment, I was just creating slides on networking. I've used like 4 Gary V quotes. I've just overused him completely. So he's
yeah. Helen, did you want to put a link to your form in the comments, and then
do actually, thank you.
Maybe explain a little bit about it.
Just to say to people, basically, because I have so many people reach out to me asking me these questions. As I say, you're always welcome to reach out and ask me as many questions as you want. But I am creating this course, which hopefully will be, well, it is, I've basically created it, a 7-step guide to making partnership. It's the complete blueprint. And it also includes a full partnership application, which I have amalgamated from several different firms, partnership applications. So you can literally see what's going to be asked of you. It's like having the exam answers before you get there. So I think it is maybe a bit intimidating at first, but what it means is you can actually work backwards from the end. So at even trainee, junior, associate level, that's what they're going to want from me in X number of years' time. So this is how I'm going to put all these pieces together. So I'll drop a link in the comments afterwards. But like, if you're interested in that, you can drop me a DM. At the moment, I'm just collecting emails so I can keep everyone updated for as and when that happens.
That's gold dust, Helen. That's going to help so many people.
I hope so. And I think what I'll also add at the beginning is when I release it, I'll probably do some webinar Q&A sessions for the people who initially sign up, because I think then, if people have questions off the back of that and want to know stuff, they can just reach out. And hopefully this will mean that it's going to be so much easier for many people to make partnership, or it may make some people realize actually partnership isn't what I want, which is again, totally fine.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for giving us all your tips today. It's been quite cool, just, getting to the nitty-gritty of how to become partner. We'll have to end it there, but for anybody who wants to tune in next week, we're talking about are law firms a safe place to fail, learn, pivot, and eventually succeed? And I think it's going to be a good one, isn't it, Helen?
Oh, yeah, I know. It will go back to us just probably being quite funny and getting into the real behind the curtain stuff in the industry. So, yeah, we're going to be mixing these podcasts up with a lot of value, a lot of education, but also a lot of the inside scoop as well. So, yeah, do send us your ideas as well for future episodes, because actually that one there was a request from someone this week, wasn't it? So we are literally doing what people ask us to do.
Amazing. Thanks so much, everyone.
Right,
see you.
Thanks. See you later. Bye.